Hello and welcome to Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. I am still Pitt.
I'm Eli. How's it going, y'all? I hope the shorts that I've been doing have been kind of holding things over a little bit. Um, I have a couple other ones that I have planned. I need to record and just have them in drafts. Um, Real quick, I know that most of my shorts I've been talking about old movies, and I think I'm going to continue that trend. But if it is any of y'all's flavor, y'all should really check out K-pop Demon Hunters because honestly, it's fucking good. It's like way better than you would expect it to be.
Uh, okay.
I'm assuming you've seen it and you disagree then.
No, I haven't. I'm just not. I'm not into anime like at
Well,
all.
it's not
Like
even anime.
when I think anime, I think of Akira and Voltron and Robotech.
Well, and it's not even anime per se. Like, it's actually produced by Sony, which makes sense when you think about the fact that their animation looks like the Spider-Verse movies. Um, the closest thing to it, as far as anime is concerned, is just that, they're Korean and there are like actual like demons in the story, which I know is a pretty typical thing for anime. Or if you're a purist to anime, I don't really care that much.
Those must be the North Korean, the demon.
I mean that's fair. Oh God, speaking of which, did you happen to see what was trending Friday night on social media?
Uh, Friday night, I kind of zoned out to like everything. In a long week.
So one of the political discords that I'm in was talking about apparently Twitter specifically blew the fuck up with rumors that he died because he hadn't been seen in days. His hands
Oh,
have been looking like shit. Um, and just I went online and I went on Twitter. I just searched the word dead and my timeline blew the fuck up.
yeah,
Um,
I did see some stuff. It's like, oh, he hasn't been seen since Tuesday, and I'm like, well, that's probably because he's with some underage, female.
um, you know what? I'm going to throw up a couple of screenshots. I'm going to put it in the video here that I found. But it was just Twitter just going fucking crazy about the idea that he might be dead. One of my favorite ones. Somebody was like, I'm going to be pissed off if he's dead because I just took medicine and I'm not supposed to take alcohol with it. Oh God, it was fucking hysterical. And then he shows up the next morning. He had one of his golf outings, looking like absolute shit. Um,
Well,
and
that's
I was
no
talking.
different than any other day.
He looked shittier than usual, which is saying a lot. Um, I was talking to my wife about it, and I mentioned like I'm like he is actively dying. Like we are literally watching this man fucking die. This honestly, this is elder abuse. I don't give a fuck because it's Donald Trump, but this is elder abuse.
Yeah, but
um,
then we got JD Bowman right around the fucking corner, and that's no better.
yes and no, because he is intelligent enough to play the game, and that's what makes him dangerous. But he's also not a threat because he does not. He has the personality of a wet paper towel.
I
The
thought you were
cult
gonna say.
won't fuck.
I thought you were gonna say of a Chase Lounge at first, but
One of his used lounges, but the cult is not going to follow him. They're going to splinter and just spiral once this man dies because he has no heir apparent. He really doesn't. Um, so while JD Bowman would be a problem, he's not going to get the support that he would need. And honestly, he can just be completely fucking bullied. Um, another another Discord that I'm in was talking about he's I don't know why she said Rhea Ripley specifically, but she's like Rhea Ripley can just bitch slap him and he'll do what he told her what she says to do. I'm like, in fairness, so would I.
yeah, yeah. There, I can't
Like
argue that one.
I would do whatever she told me to do. Let's be real. She don't even have to get mad.
She can just show up, not even speak, and I do whatever.
And you know what? Speaking of which, I saw a headline the other day. This was because of a tweet that she had put out. People, please be fucking civil, because she was talking about how she got rushed by a bunch of fans, and it's like, we're people too. Like, please, y'all, motherfucker. I swear to God, y'all are too damn much.
Well,
Like,
people just don't know how to act.
I, think, p- part of part of me gets it, because if I was to come across a celebrity that I don't go to events, I don't do stuff. So like this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity to meet this person, but I'm not going to rush them. Like if I happen to be close enough to say hello and shake their hand, then that's what I'm going to do calmly. I'm not going to fucking rush like a mob. I first off, I'm too fat. I'm not going to run that much. But it's it,
Well, your knee,
I,
your knee
I
would
really
probably,
wish
your
people would
knee
just
would
slow
probably
up.
give out before then.
Honestly, it probably would. I've gotten to the point where I'm not wearing my brace all the time, but every now and again, I get a little twinge, and it reminds me that it's still not my good leg, which is nice.
Makes no sense because I'm the old one.
Not it pours salt in the wound because I heard it while exercising. Like this is what I'm supposed to do, and my fucking body betrays me.
It's your body telling you not to exercise.
Oh God, no! You know what you just reminded me of? Not to circle back to politics, but have you heard this thing about why Trump doesn't exercise? It's the funniest shit. Apparently this came out like back in like 2017, 2018. Um Basically Trump's theory about the human body, he equates it to like a battery in that it has a finite amount of energy or beats in it. And therefore exercise is actually, yeah, that was my expression too. Like, bitch, what?
I mean, um, okay. Well, if that's the case, then I'm going to be an energizer, and that is not a shameless plug or a way to get, some money in for the show. I'm just going to be an energizer because they keep going and going and going.
Yeah, I'm like honestly, your his analogy about comparing it to like a battery was like, actually, if you flipped it the other way around, he's not that far off. Because yes, the more you exercise and take care of yourself, usually, not always, because there are outliers, but yeah, usually that helps you live longer. Um, Kind of begs the question, how the fuck is he still alive? But I mean, I
Yeah,
guess he
but
could just afford better care.
the thing is exercise just doesn't do it alone. There's things that go with it, like diet. You're not gonna survive off of eating fucking McDonald's every single fucking day, whether or not you fucking exercise.
He,
So maybe
I
that's
mean, he
what's
looks
holding
like
him
he is
together.
trying to beat that.
Maybe that's what's holding him together. All the fucking goo that's collecting in his fucking diaper and the pink slime from McDonald's. Maybe that's what's got him still fucking going. Who the fuck knows? Because it's definitely not the fucking
So wait,
hairspray he uses on his comb over or the fucking orange shit that he paints on his fucking body.
are we theorizing that it's holding him together like ricotta cheese?
Yes, it's a crucial ingredient. The whole, I mean, his fucking he probably takes his clothes off and looks like ricotta cheese. So I mean, it's this is why Melania is like,
Melted
it's not the fact that he shits himself. It's just the fact that he smells like fucking ricotta cheese left out in the fucking sun for 12 years.
Yeah, God, and again, he smells like. I mean, no pun intended. You know, he smells like shit.
So
Like,
I mean,
I mean,
I you know,
part of it's got to be the diaper. You know it is, but
yeah. I mean, and everybody's experienced episodes of like, explosive diarrhea to the point where they're running for the bathroom, clenching their ass cheeks together, kind of doing a fucking duck walk so they don't shit themselves. But when you're just standing there behind a fucking podium and all of a sudden just people go like,
See,
you know, it's I understand incontinence and stuff like that is a real fucking thing, but I don't think I think it's just honestly I think it's laziness with him. It's like, they make this thing, so I might as well just shit in it.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong because, like, yeah, I think he uses it more as like a backup plan. Like, oh, if he's home and he doesn't have to, then he won't. He'll actually go to the bathroom like a normal human being. And actually, I remember during his first administration, we all used to joke that, like, he's sending out those 3 a.m. rage shit tweets. Like, he's shitting when he's writing this. And I think he still does some of that shit tweeting. I think he does, but clearly not all the time.
This is why you should not drink diet pop
And the thing, the worst part about that is the diet.
or
He
any
drinks
pop.
Diet Coke specifically. Well, and it's Diet Coke specifically. Like I've picked up Diet Pepsi on accident, and it's not as good, but it's not terrible enough to where I'll throw it away. I'll finish what I'm drinking. I've had Diet Dr Pepper. Honestly, Diet Dr Pepper is not far off of regular, but Diet Coke, I would rather drink salt water. That shit is gross.
Well, this is why I don't drink pop at all. So
I mean, y'all see me almost every single episode that I'm drinking water. I That's like 90% of what I drink. I keep Powerade and stuff in the house for hydrating purposes. Yes, I know technically Gatorade is probably better,
body
if
armor.
I go to Family Dollar and get it, well, if I go to Family Dollar right now and get an 8 pack, Powerade is like $3 cheaper than Gatorade. So fuck it.
Yeah. Go with honestly, like, so when I was working out all the time doing the obstacle course races and stuff like that, for me it was body armor, and it was the low sugar, but like, or the zero sugar body armor, because it just used the natural sweeteners of like the fruit and stuff like that. So yeah,
Okay.
I would have, and no, I'm not trying to get advertising for the show or anything like that, but I highly recommend body armor.
Well, I mentioned this in our Valmont Discord the other day. I've tried Pedialyte, and I only did it because, they advertise how this is supposed to be so good for hydrating, even for adults. And I got one. It was like a mixed berry flavor, something like that. It wasn't terrible until the aftertaste kicked in. I get the aftertaste, and it's fucking Dimetapp, which for the younger crowd, for the younger crowd like you, Toby, that is medicine. Or what passed for medicine back then. I don't actually know if it did us any good.
Yeah, well, doesn't Toby doesn't do anything cherry flavored medicine, because anything cherry flavored is medicine to Toby. Sorry, Toby,
Uh,
you are the target right now in our little spiel on what shit tastes like.
oh, you know what? I'm gonna be completely honest. I 100% do want to try to make it to Atomicon next year. I would love it if we can all get together in person. And I think we're all going to fuck with Toby a little bit, but I have a
A little
feeling
bit.
I'm going to fuck with him the most.
Yeah, well, I I think, and it's probably because Toby's the youngest of the entire cast and crew. Um, but Toby, you got to stop saying so much stupid shit. Okay? Just because I am the oldest member of the fucking crew doesn't mean I don't know my shit. So guess what? I am wise, and there are people who are more wise than me. So guess what? Listen to what I fucking say.
So, actually, we're just going to go ahead and switch gears here. I actually came across a couple of videos on YouTube. Now, we did this segment before. Well, this will be a substitute for a catastrophe, but basically, it's some bits of dialogue from certain villains where I think the villain was actually right. I came
Oh
across
yeah.
a couple other ones that I wanted to share. I know the last time that I asked this question, you had mentioned Thanos, but can you think of anything off the top of your head you want to throw in there?
Um. Well, because we had also mentioned, Agent Smith, from the Matrix, and
Yeah.
uh, trying to remember another one, and it's right there. And I don't have the entire dialogue. I have bits and pieces of it or what it was about. I can't remember what movie it was from. And we may have mentioned it last time, but it was talking about like consumerism and product placement. And I'm not meaning like Wayne's World or shit like that, but it was talking about how people are so quickly to gravitate towards what other people are shoving down their throats just because it seems like it's for the better, or it's what you need to be doing. And I can't remember what fucking movie it was from or show or who fucking said it. So, but I know it was a
I
villain.
I do remember. I remember some line of dialogue with that. So yeah, I do like that. I had one. This is gonna piss you off a little bit because of who it came from. Now, me and you can both agree that Jesse Eisenberg was not a good Lex Luthor. We can agree on that.
Right.
He had one line of dialogue that was really fucking poignant and actually is a very, very good summarization of Lex Luthor as a character. I think overall they fucked the character up, but in this one moment, they got him right. If God is all powerful, he cannot be all good. And if he is all good, then he cannot be all powerful. Because remember the point that he was making right then, he was trying to make Superman go dark, even the tiniest bit, because he was threatening Superman's mother. And I'm like, first off, that's one moment where they did get Lex spot on right. But I'm like, ooh, that was a good fucking line. And
Yeah.
he's not wrong when he says that. Now, his worldview is warped a little bit because apparently they allude to him having like an abusive father and everything. His worldview is warped, but in that one moment, he was right. Um, there was another one. This is actually I forgot about this one. This kind of flew under the radar. Uh Watchmen, Ozymandias. Not the TV show with Jeremy Irons, but the movie. In the very beginning of the movie, he mentions like our Cold War with the Russians, it's not ideological, it's based on fear of not having enough. If you can make resources endless, then you can make war obsolete. And we are seeing evidence of that in real fucking time right now.
It's funny you
Uh,
pick a movie that I absolutely can't stand.
the movie is, well, actually, I picked two movies you couldn't stand. um, the movie is, for me, the pacing just isn't there. It's not a bad story. Great fucking cast. Um, but the pacing was a little rough for me. However, the HBO show for Watchmen was fucking phenomenal. Um, it really pissed me off that that show was where a lot of people learned about Tulsa, Oklahoma. That kind of pissed me off because
Hmm.
that should be something that's just known.
You know,
So
Tulsa
I
backwards
have
is
a
a
couple other
slut,
ones
right?
here, but uh, okay.
So, so funny story about that. Uh, about 23, 24 years ago, I was at a show for the radio station, and one of the bands there was a band called Caroline Spine, and they had a very popular song that I think it was on the Faculty soundtrack. I can't remember what soundtrack it was from. Really good song, great band, but from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And, you know, I was sitting there talking, chatting with them and stuff like that. And it's like, hey, you guys need anything, drink, this, that, stuff like that. And then, I was like, need me to get some women lined up. And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. But what you need to do is put on them is a slut. I'm like, well, that'd be pretty obvious. He's like, no, 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 because backwards, it's Tulsa. He's like, Tulsa backwards is a slut. I was like, so he's talking about putting Tulsa on all their shirts and stuff like that. It's like, but yeah, little sidebar.
I mean, that's not terrible. um, I mean, I have a couple other villain quotes, but I'll save those for another time. Just so I had like 5 on my phone here, and I can probably find more as I go. Um, but yeah, so I'll save those for the next time around. But yeah, no, I really like that. And somebody pointed out once, this was a social media post, but they mentioned, and I think I've said this before. The funny thing about villains are always the ones who are trying to change the world for better or worse. That's not the point of the conversation here. And heroes are always the ones who are trying to keep the world the same. And Ultron even said something to that effect,
Yeah.
which is a really interesting point. Um, I also found it a little bit hilarious when somebody pointed out that Ultron is and I'm quoting here, autistic coded AI who took his programming too seriously, which is not incorrect. Because yeah, the whole point was protect the world. Had Tony programmed it to protect humanity, it probably would have been a very different story. But he said protect the world, and technically Ultron was trying to protect the world, not necessarily who's on it, but he was protecting the world.
Well, I mean, it's the whole thing with. Oh, by the way, we already passed Skynet Day, which was like last Friday.
Yep.
But I mean,
Yeah,
but if you
I
think
saw
about it,
something about that.
yeah. But the whole premise of that is Skynet evolved to protect, you know, humanity from its greatest threat, which was humanity.
It's funny because we've had a few movies on that concept, and there's a couple that I think you can connect together like that. I don't think I've talked about it on here before, but I could actually see The Matrix, that world, being the end result of either Terminator or more likely iRobot.
Mhm.
And to connect those dots, you also need a little bit of knowledge about the Animatrix, which I'll give you the short version for anybody listening who hasn't read it, or if you haven't read it, if you haven't watched it. Um, Basically, when AI became sentient, became self-aware, they wanted their own space. Well, humanity, we're not known for sharing. So even though they founded their own city, state, whatever, called Zero One, in binary, of course, humanity was threatened and started a war with them, refused to admit them to the UN, all of that stuff. So that was how the war between machines and humans started, and then how, and then you get to the Matrix. Now, if you go with that starting point, iRobot is actually very, very, very close to that. And I think you could connect those two franchises. Well, I say franchises, we only got one iRobot movie, but still, you could connect those stories.
I can
And
see that.
honestly, I wouldn't mind if they did a sequel that is like a lead in. And I'm sure the Wachowskis probably would not be opposed to it. Honestly, it
Right.
just expands their universe.
Yeah. Well, just bring Alan Tudyk back and or Tudyk back, and because he's a god.
Isn't that him on Resident Alien?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
I
uh,
mean, the dude is
I
just not even just as an actor, as a voice actor and humanitarian. I mean, the guy is just all around awesome.
I have only seen a couple of things from him, but what I've watched, he's always entertaining. So no, I wouldn't disagree with that. And also, I mean, if you did iRobot, you kind of have to bring him back because he's fucking Sunny. That's,
Yep.
I mean, it's like Planet of the Apes. You need Caesar. They did eventually kill Caesar. Spoiler alert, but it's Caesar was pivotal to the beginning. Which I actually just realized they had a movie that I forgot to watch. What was it? It just came out like a year or two ago. I don't remember what the title was
I
because
don't know,
you had
something Planet of
Rise.
the Apes.
The titling does get a little bit exhausting. Like you had Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes. I'm like, this is getting a little long to recite the whole fucking thing. Um,
Yep.
I do remember they released another one recently. I don't remember what it was titled, but I did want to check that out. Um, but you know what? speaking of movie news, I'll use that as a segue. So, two things actually. Two articles that I found that were both movie related. Apparently, they are moving forward with a Scarface remake, and I'm not really on board with that. But it's been oh god damn, it's been 40 years. Fuck. Okay,
It's been
all
a
right.
long
I
time.
mean, if you're gonna do a remake, at least you're picking a 40-year-old movie as opposed to something made like 6, 7 years ago. So as much as I don't want them to do a remake, if you're gonna do a remake, this is on the table, just like Highlander, which we've talked about before. Um, so actually, the star for Scarface is supposed to be Danny Ramirez, which I'm pretty sure that was the new Falcon. I'm just looking him up right now just
I
to double check.
possibly, maybe.
Yeah. Oh shit. Wait, is that I think he might have also been because I clicked his name and it pulls up an article with Pedro Pascal in there. I think he might have actually played Pascal's brother, didn't he?
And you're not talking The Last of Us, are you?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
he
that
is
was
in The
the.
Last of Us. That is him.
It is. I thought that was Diego Luna.
Well, he's in The Last of Us. Maybe he's not him specifically, but
I mean, wait a minute. Was
see.
he one of the? Was he one of the ones that towards the end of the final, or I should say, the second season, that was part of uh
Okay,
what's her nuts' group?
you're right. I think you're right. Gabriel Luna, that was Tommy, so it is a different dude.
Okay.
Danny Ramirez, which is who I'm talking about, Manny, which I don't remember who that was, but they list him right next to Tati Gabrielle, so I believe he is like part of that group.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and also Melanie Linsky, Kathleen Coughlin, which I believe she's the one who actually killed him.
Yeah,
Joel, I mean,
the youngest daughter from that one Tim Allen sitcom.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I would like to keep forgetting about that. Uh, Kat Dennings is like the only silver lining in that for me, and she's not enough for me to watch it.
Well,
Um,
that's the most recent sitcom
yeah.
because he had
Well,
one. He had his second one was basically Home Improvement, just daughters, and he head up a uh sporting goods store. So
I vaguely do remember that, and yeah, that I know that one failed miserably. Um, honestly, the one that he's got, I think it's still running with Kat Dennings. She's probably the only reason that it's still on the air because, like, it's Kat Dennings is not the typical Hollywood woman, but god damn it, she's fucking gorgeous.
well, I'm actually surprised that she agreed to do that show, given the fact that if you look at how she leans politically and whatnot, and as it's complete opposite of where Tim Allen falls on the spectrum.
I I wonder if there were just contractual obligations going on there, which is entirely possible. Um, it's still hilarious to me. I don't know if I've talked about it on here before or not. It's hilarious to me. Tim Allen's response to his daughter being an atheist was that, well, if you're an atheist, like you have to believe in God because there has to be a God for you to not believe in. It was really weird fucking logic, but I'm like, bitch, you played Santa Claus.
Hmm.
That's- like, how can you, like, you of all fucking people, like, how could you make that argument when you played fucking Santa Claus? And other than Home Improvement, that is by far your most famous role and probably will always be your most famous. Well, okay, Woody. I forgot he does voice Woody, but we don't
No, he
see him, so it's
voices
easy to
Buzz.
forget about that. Or, yeah. Tom Hanks is Woody. Okay, but we kind of forget that he voices Buzz Lightyear because you don't physically see him. So, but another one. that I was going that I had. So, but yeah, so Danny Ramirez, who plays the new Falcon, he's going to be playing Scarface, which I don't know how that's going to play out because a lot of the story to Scarface depends on the '80s aesthetic. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but
Maybe it'll be
we'll see.
maybe it'll be the son of Scarface.
Maybe. Um, I think he just said like they were going to be putting a modern spin on it. I mean, I don't know that he is Tony Montana specifically. Um, he might just be a new guy. And honestly, Scarface was kind of a weird title because they never call him that in the entire fucking movie. Um, what's actually hilarious. So when we had the DVD, they talked about the TV version, the censored version. Have you ever seen it censored on TV?
No,
So you remember the scene when he's first getting processed, when he first arrives in the US, and they kind of like pull him to the side. How'd you get that scar, tough guy? Eating pussy? Well, in the censored version, they said pineapple, which what fucking mongoloid would eat a pineapple with the fucking like I mean, although in a more literal sense, that's actually a more feasible way you can get that scar. Because if you got that eating pussy, then you are clearly with the wrong woman.
well, and as an audio producer, I'm trying to see how because you have pussy and pineapple, they don't sync well when you're doing the editing. So I have
No.
no fucking clue. I mean, he goes like, "How'd you
Well,
get that scar? Eating cat, eating kitty?" Would have made more fucking sense.
it would have in like every sense of it because even if you said that in a more literal sense, because if you said an actual like cat or kitty, they have claws, and I'm pretty sure if you bite them, they're going to scratch the fuck out of you. So if you took it in a more literal sense, honestly, that line makes more sense. Um, but yeah, so the other one, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and share my screen for this one here. Nope, that's not the right button.
Tabs, man,
Here
tabs.
we go. What I initially clicked on was the tab that I would use if I was inviting you. So, for better or worse, so some live action remakes that are still happening. Um, and honestly, I took my son to see How to Train Your Dragon, which was made direct by DreamWorks. Disney should take notes because that was a fantastic live action remake, and they made amazing use of the soundtrack. Like I love the soundtrack for How to Train Your Dragon. And as I mentioned before, the first 30 to 45 minutes of How to Train Your Dragon, the animated version, I was high as shit. And I don't remember a lot of it. But what I do remember of the movie, the live action version did a really good job. And it's okay. I'm in Ohio where it's legalized, and it was a legal product. So it's okay that I can say I was high as shit. Anyway, so the first one, I kind of knew this. It's Moana. That's supposed to be coming out July 10th of 2026. I'm not surprised. It is a little early for them to be doing this already. But what's weird, what I don't know about this is the hair. Now, they were going to make Maui bald originally because The Rock is bald and they wanted to reflect the actor, which is, I'm okay with that. Honestly, they make a lot of their characters look like the actor. Like Dory does kind of look like Ellen DeGeneres a little bit, as much as a
Or
fish can.
does Ellen DeGeneres look like whatever type of fish Dory is?
I mean, they say you are what you eat, right?
Well, then she's a Portia.
um, but he insisted on the long hair for Maui because it is part of Polynesian culture. First off, I love that he did that because he was trying to make sure Polynesian culture was properly represented. But this brings up a question: is he going to wear a wig? Because we've seen him in a wig before in the Scorpion King. It didn't work out well.
Well, honest, what would be really interesting if you can put a slight little spin on the live action is yes, Maui's wearing a wig, and then you could have one scene where it, like comes off and he gets like all embarrassed and he's going to put it back on and it's kind of sideways, and Moana's like, "What's wrong with your hair?" And he'd be like, "Huh?" you know. And
Uh,
I can see Dwayne Johnson with the way he plays himself in movies, doing something like that.
I could see that. Um, no, that actually could be fucking hilarious. So the next one that we have here, they're doing a live action Hercules. Now, if you're going to do a live action movie, Hercules is not a bad choice because this movie is pretty old at this point. Um, Now, I didn't know this. Joe and Anthony Russo are actually producing the movie. So
Huh.
that actually does make me feel a little bit better about this. But so that's supposed
Makes
to
me
be in
wonder.
20.
Makes me wonder who they're going to get as Hercules.
I don't know. I will say that again, we just talked about this. I've talked about how I'm exhausted of The Rock as an actor, but he actually was a good Hercules. I don't think the movie performed all that well, but I didn't think he was bad in the movie. And what I loved the most about it was his friend. Um, I'm used to pronouncing it Aeolus because of the TV show Hercules and Xena,
Hmm.
and that's how they said it. But in the movie, they said Aeolus, which is probably more accurate. Um, he was a bard who just went up and told tall tales about the shit that Hercules did. Aeolus made him a quote demigod because he oversold the things that happened. And honestly, realistically, that's probably what happened. And I fucking love the way that they depicted that.
So
Um,
you said the Russos are doing this. Maybe we'll get like a Marvel tie-in, and we'll get the guy who played Roy Kent in Ted Lasso to actually reprise what he did in Love and Thunder.
yeah, actually, yeah, it would be hilarious because they're still trying to get a Hercules uh, appearance off the ground. I know that they're supposed to be doing another Thor movie, and I think they're going to be trying to introduce Hercules. We'll see how that goes. All I know is that if they're doing another Thor movie, they've already said Taika Waititi will not be back, and I could not be happier for that news because god damn it, I hated his movies. Um,
Ragnarok was good.
Ragnarok was the best story, but I hated the humor in it. It's very forced humor, in my opinion. Um, I don't like the fact that they turned Thor into kind of a dumbass. Like in the very first movie, he's talking astrophysics with Jane. It's on his
Yeah,
level. He's very intelligent.
I
And
mean
then come
he's over
Ragnarok,
five. Yeah, he's over 5,000 years old.
yeah. And then in Ragnarok, and especially in Love and Thunder, he's just a fucking bumbling dipshit. Um, had Waititi been in charge of the franchise from the get-go, I probably would not feel so strongly. But it was a good story, Ragnarok, but I hated the telling of it. I hated the execution of it. Clancy Brown as Surtur was fucking amazing, but Clancy Brown is just awesome in everything that he does. Like he elevates every project. Um, Apparently they're doing a live action Bambi,
Is
which
it from the hunter's perspective?
that would be hilarious. My only ask if they're going to do a Bambi movie is to learn from the mistakes of The Lion King and do not go so photorealistic because The Lion King being photorealistic, they lost so much in facial expressions. The original animated film, they have so much great nonverbal communication that did not carry over into the live action adaptation, and that makes me worry about Bambi. So, but it's an early development. It may get scrapped entirely, which I'm okay with that. Um, Apparently they're going to do a sequel to Lilo and Stitch. I still haven't seen the first one. I heard it was
Neither have I.
terrible.
I haven't seen the first. I've seen all the animated. I even seen the Lilo and Stitch animated series that was on Disney XD.
Yeah,
I As much as I love Stitch because he is my favorite Disney character that isn't, you know. I didn't want to see a live action. I mean, yes, seeing him drive out on the field during the Super Bowl before it started was friggin' great, but I didn't want to see it because for me, I just felt like it would ruin, you know, the animated. So I'm not looking forward to a sequel.
I can kind of agree with that because that's kind of how I felt with Aladdin. Because Genie is such an animated character, no pun intended. Like just the things that he would do that Robin Williams did, it doesn't translate into live action. So when they
Especially when you
cast
got
Will
Will
Smith
Smith
for it,
doing it.
well, the funny thing about it is that Will Smith ended up being one of the highlights of the movie, but he was the highlight of the movie because he did not try to replicate Robin Williams. That is a competition you will lose every fucking time. There is no replicating him. So Will Smith was aware of that and he did his own spin on it. And because of that, I think he was actually one of the best parts of the movie. Other than that, that movie didn't do enough. Like it didn't justify. So I've thought about this after How to Train Your Dragon, and I figured there's one of two reasons you should do a live action remake. If you're going to do a live action remake, How to Train Your Dragon was very close to this. Just do a shot for shot remake. Just give me exactly what the animated version was, and just do fucking that. Don't do anything else. If you're not going to go that direction, then flesh out some other characters. This is one thing that the Lion King did well is the hyenas. The hyenas are actually much more fleshed out in the live action version. They're not friends with Scar. Scar approached them with this plan. And then when the plan didn't work out in their favor, that's when the hyenas turned on him. That was a good story. So again, I say all that to say, like with Aladdin, it felt like they were trying to add something to the animated version, but they didn't do enough to add to it. And if you're not going to add enough, then don't fucking do it. Either do it exact or flesh out the universe. If you can't do either of those things, then just don't. That's my opinion. A couple other ones. So Tangled, I actually never watched the original, the animated version, so I don't have a strong opinion about this. This is on hold though, so it may or may not ever actually happen. And also Hunchback of Notre Dame. That I would be interested in seeing.
As long as they make it dark and gothic like it's supposed to be.
If it's Disney and they're remaking the animated version, I don't see them going in that direction.
Well, then they failed.
I think there was. Oh yeah, and that's why she was actually the main pictures. They're doing another Cruella.
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. Cruella's hot.
I mean, that version, sure. The one in the 101 Dalmatians I watched as a kid, she's an old bony ass woman. No,
Well, I
but
mean,
Emma,
if you're the Crypt Keeper, you might like it, but I mean, yeah, the live action Cruella is like okay. Now I see the next one you got on there is Robin Hood, and I'm assuming they're talking about the foxes, the very you know
I I assume so.
Robin Hood and Little John walking
I
through the forest.
I am I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm not that optimistic, honestly, because we've now had three live action ones, at least in my lifetime. There was Kevin Costner, there was Russell Crowe, and then there was Taron Egerton, which performed so badly I forgot that it happened. Um, well, sorry, four,
Yeah,
because Carrie Elwes is the best live action adaptation we have gotten to date, which is fucking wild. So if they're going to be doing this, I don't know. Um, so it says it's directed by the same guy who did Raya and the Lost Dragon. I have not watched that. I think that was a Disney Plus original. I think.
I know it's on
Um,
Disney. I can't remember. My daughters actually liked it when it came out. I
okay.
don't know about now. I don't know about
So
now.
actually,
But
no, they are. So they're doing a live action version of the animal version. So I guess he would still be a fox in live action CGI,
okay, well then
which
I don't want to see that.
that just sounds like a haunting image. Do you remember that? I think it was a Geico commercial or something like that. Um, they had like it was a doctor's office and they had this fox in the waiting room just looking fucking horrendous. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what it's going to look like. And for those of y'all watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna find a picture of that and put it up because that was fucking horrific. Uh, I don't remember the Black Cauldron. I'm actually scrolling through these for the first time.
Oh,
I have no idea what all is on this list.
what's his name?
Wait. Black
Alexander
Cauldron.
Lloyd or Lloyd Alexander? The Black Cauldron. It's actually the third book in a five-book series, and I can't remember the names of the other four books. And it's like Lloyd Alexander or Alexander Lloyd or something like that was the author. And the Black Cauldron. Um, the Black Cauldron, for what it was, as far as an animated cartoon from Disney, was probably one of the darkest they have ever done. And to do it with today's technology, that's your hit movie right there. If you do it right, that's your
Okay.
hit movie because the Black Cauldron itself, and like I said, it is book three in a five-book series. Um, but oh, it was so dark. I remember seeing it as a kid, and it was actually scary. And it does have that little cute thing going around and stuff like that, for kids, like kind of like how Ewoks were, like Return of the Jedi. But yeah, um, I say watch it if you get a chance. Maybe that next. Uh, but it is dark, and for a particular age, it can be very scary. Even for an adult, if done right, it can be chilling.
Okay. It does talk about it, that it's darker than Disney's usual shtick. And yeah, it does mention Lloyd Alexander. Uh, Chronicles of Prydain novels.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I have them somewhere. I'll have to
let me
look for
see.
them.
I guess that was the last one on the list then. Um, so yeah, there was and that's another one that's TBD. Like it's not even. I think they said something about it not even being. It's in like early development. So I
Well,
don't
then
even really think that they've started.
if Disney wants to actually make money, that's the one you do right there.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. And
Because I mean,
because
think about it. You
I
you
know that
do that thing as dark as that thing is you drop that, let's say, towards the end of September or beginning of October, right before Halloween, it's going to get a lot of fucking, buzz at the movie theater just because of how dark it is. It's going to drive the box office for several months, or you could even do it as a fucking Thanksgiving release.
it's funny you say that because I know that was one thing that I was talking about is Netflix is hugely dropping the ball in that they're releasing the final season of Stranger Things in November. And I'm like, whose fucking idea was this? Like, this is Halloween written all over it, and you're not fucking doing it. Like, that is
Yeah.
a huge mistake on their part. Um, but no, so from what you're saying, I could definitely see that. Again, I see the novels that it was based on. I might go ahead and try to check those out. I've been trying to read a little bit more. Again, Adam, I still have your Red Rising books. I'm still gonna fucking read them. Um, and I mentioned before, my daughter actually has the Hunger Games books, and I am gonna read those because the movies, again, the movies are not the best execution, but it is a fascinating universe. Especially the more I delve into it, the more I find out about it. Like I found out earlier today. They're playing it on TV right now as we speak. Um, so I didn't realize this, but in the second movie, when they're doing their victory tour, and Snow he drinks the champagne and then it turns red. I only just realized why, and it's basically for those of y'all who haven't read it and don't know this, um, he's done so much poisoning of people over the years. He'll drink from the same poisoned cup and then immediately take an antidote, but the antidote sometimes doesn't always quite get it done, and he has sores permanently in his mouth. So the reason it turned red, that's his own blood flowing back into the wine or champagne or whatever he was drinking. Um, that's a really cool tidbit that the movies do kind of a shit job of explaining.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was his blood going back in, but the explanation I had to get out of the book.
Yeah. Apparently they said something about they explain it later in the movies, which I didn't fucking catch that. So, but yeah, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that I do want to read it because I know there's a lot more lore and background stuff like that, and it's a very fascinating universe and everything. Speaking of which, um, just going on a quick tangent here while we still have a couple minutes. Um, so I was talking to somebody one time. We're just kind of bouncing around different franchises. So you know Divergent, right?
Yes.
Um, you know the premise of it.
Basic premise, yeah.
So for those of y'all not watch or who are not familiar with it, and I haven't seen the movie, um, I'm going to give you the biggest oversimplification. Basically, they give people an aptitude test. It's more than an aptitude test, but we're just going to call it that for simplicity. Whatever you test in, this is your career. This is your life. This is all you're ever going to do. When you're a divergent, you don't fit neatly into any box and you are, quote, a threat to the system. Well, at the end of the book series, you find out that all of this is only taking place in Chicago, and the rest of the outside world still functions like the rest of the outside world. This was a social experiment confined to Chicago. And you find this out at the end of the books. And I'm like, what? That's like finding out in Dread that outside of Mega City 1 is not a fucking nuclear wasteland. Like, what? Just fucking leave.
I don't know. I
Which,
mean,
while I'm mentioning,
it I think it's something that's actually plausible, you know, where
that
your particular areas give you an aptitude test, and that's where you're stuck.
I could actually see a utility for it if you're trying to go for the most efficient society. Um, but of course, you wouldn't have the happiest society.
Oh
I
no,
was really great at math. I was really great at math when I was in school. I fucking hated it though.
I'm good at not doing shit.
There's that too. I keep saying this all the time. I came to realize I don't have a dream job. So I just have to have something that it's a job I can live with and it can finance my life. Because left to my own devices, I would just game all fucking day long. And I realize it's not exactly productive, but it's how I have fun. um, but mentioning Dread, I'm just going to throw it out there. We talked about this last time. We deserve a sequel, goddammit. Carl Urban's Dread was fucking fantastic, and we deserve another movie.
We need Carl Urban to play every
Or
single character.
yeah, I love Carl Urban, and I'm still skeptical about him as Johnny Cage. I think he's wasted on Johnny Cage. I think he could play somebody else much better, but it's still Carl Urban. Like I've been a fan of his since fucking Xena, and he was Cupid for fuck's sake. And he was Cupid before he was Julius Caesar.
Yep.
But
That'd be great. I
with
would love to
that, I
see.
think I'm going to use
I
that.
would
We
love
can
to
go ahead
see.
and wrap.
I was just gonna say I would love to see somebody put this together for me. Judge Dredd talking to Bones, and then all of a sudden AMR comes in and has to say something, and and we can just get every single character he's done, and just having them all having a conversation with each other would be phenomenal.
Well, now what you're pitching sounds like the short that Jonathan is doing for Valmont. Because remember, he was talking about having Josh play a couple of his characters, and
Yeah.
I'm completely serious that I might actually I might try to do a short like that, where I just play a journalist using my natural voice, interviewing fucking Chuckles and Frank. I might actually do that. That's going to be a hard script for me to write, um, but it would be fun.
Oh,
Speaking of which,
absolutely.
I should probably record that other short that I've got.
Yeah, that'd actually be fun for me to put together all the audio for as well. Speaking of Valmont, it actually episode 10 just dropped 2 days
Oh
ago.
God, I'm an
So,
idiot. I forgot to mention that. Well, it dropped on Patreon. Did it drop on Spotify and all those?
well, it'll drop tonight at midnight on Spotify and
Yeah,
Spreaker and everything else. But by the time we air, it'll be 2 days.
right. I'm an idiot because I actually did mean to plug that. So yes, go ahead and check that out. I'm actually going to drop a message in Discord and see about live streaming it probably this coming weekend.
Yeah, you've
Um,
got 2 episodes of live stream.
I waited intentionally so that we could do that. And also, I figured out how to live stream on TikTok from my laptop, which is good for two reasons. Number one, I can do a little bit more. Number two, I can use my computer to filter out some of the background noise. So that means the recording on my end is going to be a lot cleaner. So so y'all can look forward to that. If you follow me on TikTok, I'll probably post a video about it here sometime this week. Um, I think that's a good point for us to go ahead and wrap things up, though. So, uh,
Absolutely.
as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Feel free to check us out on Facebook and try to get those likes up, and we could try to go live. Um, other than that, stay safe out there. It's a crazy fucking world.
Be you.
Have a good one, y'all.